to anyone in any way. I want to try to do that best that I can, and I saw this as an awesome opportunity to do that. So that's kind of what inspired me to come here today, to try to get involved more with Tim Mateo, and also just telling you more about my life. Like I said, I'm the youngest. My brother right here, he's the one that was oldest, a year and a half older than me. He was the closest in age to me. So literally, he set the example. I followed him throughout my whole life. He literally made my whole life as easy as can be, because I just did what he did, and he set a great example. So I was off on the right foot, starting there, and then going off to college. Him as well as the rest of my family laid an awesome foundation. So by the time I was off to college, I kind of understood what it took to make the right decisions, and to understand what I needed to do to kind of accomplish my goals and get where I needed to be. So that's kind of where I did and why I ended up at Northwestern. I went there because of the academics, as well as the competition that it had within the Big Ten, one of the best college football divisions in college football. So while I was there, followed the teaching that he had taught me, my family had taught me, the things that I had seen growing up in terms of working hard, putting in the time, putting in the extra effort to kind of set myself apart from my peers and things like that. And ultimately, that's what allowed me to have the opportunity to play in the NFL, to live out my dreams, and to never feel like I'm working a day in my life because I'm playing football. But that's kind of my story. We're gonna have time, I guess, to ask questions a little bit afterwards, and he's gonna share a little bit too.
I did this at another event that we spoke at, but my name is Rashad, and I'm 26, and I just want to say, this is a random Snapple fact. I quit my job today because I didn't find satisfaction in what I was doing. I worked in corporate America for 4 years and 4 months, doing sales for a private debt and equity firm. And the reason I quit my job was to get back to, I think, what this is. I think people get caught up in society, going to an Ivy League school, you get caught up in chasing what everybody else lays out for you. But you got to stay true to yourself. And people always say, well, you get used to certain things, you get used to making a certain amount of money, but everything works itself out. If you're passionate about what you're doing, I'm confident that it'll work itself out for what I'm going on to next. And I just stood it out there because it's a lot of pressure on people to do certain things, but you really got to do what you feel confident and comfortable doing. But this exercise I want to do real quick was something I did before, and I actually learned it at my job, so my job did add value to my life. But basically, I want everybody here to think about one of their proudest moments. And I'm going to ask for 2 volunteers. But literally think about the proudest moment in your life, whether it was the birth of a child, the accomplishment, maybe getting honor roll, winning a championship, whatever it may be. Think about that for like 30 seconds. And I'm going to call on 2 people. Hopefully we have some willing volunteers.
My journey wasn't the smoothest. So when I got to Northwestern, I redshirted my first year. I hated it. I just wanted to play football. Having to sit on the sideline for a whole year was miserable. But then I ended up starting my redshirt freshman year, and I started all 4 years after that. But then my senior year, I actually tore my hamstring the second game of the season. So I ended up missing 5 games that year. I didn't really worry about all the projections, all that nonsense. At the end of the day, I just wanted to play football, because that's the root of everything that's going on. I love football, so I wanted to get back to it. That's what I focused on the whole time I was injured. The whole time I was out of football, I was just getting back and playing with my teammates and playing the game that I love. So I ended up finishing. I think I played 5 games that season. Like the last 5 games of that season, played really well, and then ended up getting a late invite to the combine. And then when I got invited to the combine, I hurt my hamstring again going into the combine, so I wasn't able to run the combine. I was able to kind of show my field smarts or my intelligence, meeting with coaches and things like that. The stuff they don't necessarily show on TV. But I was able to do that in the combine, but I wasn't able to do any of the stuff that y'all see on TV in terms of the 40 and all that kind of stuff. But on top of that, I also got invited to the Senior Bowl, late invited to the Senior Bowl. That was probably the biggest thing that helped me get drafted. Just competing with some of the best talent in the country and standing out. So it wasn't smooth. Obviously, my senior year was kind of up and down, but the whole time I never got caught up in where I ended up because at the end of the day, whether I got drafted or didn't, all I needed was I felt all I needed was an opportunity. If I'm in camp somewhere, I have no doubt in my mind I'm gonna make the team. But like by the grace of God, I was drafted in the 4th round. It was a blessing. In Cleveland, things aren't going smooth right now. My last season was miserable. It hasn't deterred me from my ultimate goal of being a great player in this league and leaving a lasting impression. So it's just part of the process right now.
One thing I'll add to that is he didn't mention one thing that I thought was probably the biggest setback in his career was he broke his jaw in spring ball. And I don't know if you ever thought about not being able to open your mouth for 10 weeks, but think about waking up and not being able to talk. Or think about drinking soup or smoothies. Like he did that for 10 weeks. He couldn't work out hard enough because if he threw up, he might choke on a throw up. But he had to work out because he had to stay in shape. So like to me, he went through everything. Like it was one season I think his knees were hurt. Like it was just every year there was something. But he was resilient, and I think one of the best things that we do is we don't dwell on what we can't control. So for example, if you can't fix it, you gotta move on. You gotta forgive people. You gotta part from that thing that's a distraction. And you gotta move on because if you let that eat at you, it's gonna take away your energy. It's gonna take away your production, and that's really something that we don't let it. Like if he sees me doing it, he's gonna tell me. If I see him doing it, I'm gonna call him out. So that's really a big thing.
I just wanted
Okay, so I guess I have 2 questions. One is, what does working out to actually get to that type level look like? Because I think a lot of times they don't understand the hard work that you really have to kind of put in there. And then what are some other stuff besides just the physically fit stuff that you have to do to prepare to better prepare yourself for a chance at something like that?
Yeah, I'll give you like pretty concrete examples of what I did, like the extra work that I did in high school. My biggest thing in terms of working out was I'm focused on the next task that's in front of me. So we're heading into spring ball right now. I want to be as in shape as possible going into spring ball. I'm not worried about the season right now because I got something to take care of before that. So in high school, I was making sure I was in shape we used to have this thing called sprint jog. You would like sprint 40 yards and then you would like jog around the turn, then you would sprint 40 yards and we would do that for like 20 minutes. So I was always trying to make sure that I was in shape for those type of things. So I would, 2 days a week, I would alternate 2 days a week. I would wake up 6 o'clock in the morning before work, go run 3 miles, and then like come home and do like an ab exercise. And then on days that I didn't do that, there's this hill on like Wissahickon Park that it's like this huge hill that me, like all my brothers and run up that I would go to and I would run up that. I think I would do like anywhere from 10 to 20 times just to make sure that I was in shape for the practices in the summer. And then ultimately that prepared me for the practices in the season and then just got me ready for the season and set me far ahead of any competition in high school football. And then that same kind of mindset and mentality went on into college. And my whole thing in college was I had to take that more than just the physical. I became what you call like a film junkie. I never stopped watching film in college, and then we got like the iPads and you can watch it at home. I literally watch. I'll be watching TV, watching the NFL game, and think to myself like damn, I want to be there. And how'd they get there? They didn't get there by watching TV. They probably focused on their craft and studied and honed in on their craft. So I'll be watching the NFL and like whatever. Like I got something to take care of before I do this. So I would go watch more film and like make sure that I was putting in all the time, dotting my I's, crossing my T's, everything that I could for every game in preparation for games. So those are some of the small examples of the extra work and the detailed work that I put in to kind of set myself apart from my peers and really get to the next level. And then in terms of the mental game, that's probably the biggest difference in the NFL. Just everyone's like very mentally strong in the NFL. And I think that's my biggest strength as well. I think that I'm very talented physically. I think I'm very strong physically. But my mental strength is I think what sets me apart from a lot of people. And that's ultimately I think the biggest separation, because you know people that are extremely gifted on the field, athletically, can jump as high as far as they can run, whatever, but they're not able to make it because there's something that's holding them back. And a lot of times it's just that mental aspect of one, understanding what's expected of you, but also just not not letting people gas you up and not feeding into the hype. Because if you feed into the hype, like, you just can't get caught up with people giving you compliments and all that kind of stuff. You got to know, you got to figure out who you are, and then from there, try to grow and improve yourself every opportunity that you get. That's the biggest thing that I kind of recognize in myself, and I think stands out throughout the NFL.
My question is, Wentz or Brady? No, I'm kidding. I'm joking. My question is, you guys talked about like doing a lot of stuff kind of like together. You guys, how important is it, to surround yourself, with, I guess, your crowd? Like, how important is who you kind of hang out with and kind of where you kind of wanted to go?
I was just thinking about this today, actually. Your circle is huge. We've got a circle it's a group chat called Stay Cool. Is like kind of what we refer to ourselves as. 13 of us? 13 of us. And we actually, starting this year, it's actually like a book club. Like because we all wanted to read more, we all wanted to grow more, we all wanted to learn more. So we each pick a book a month and we read it, and we just talk about it in a group like as we go throughout the month. And then on top of that, we've got entrepreneurs, we've got athletes, we've got actors, we've got fathers, we've got any wide range of things in our group of friends. And I think that's so unique and that's huge. Like just to grow up with that group of men, and the way that they were able to influence me, just being one of the younger guys in that group. It's been huge. So who you surround yourself with is a big part of where you end up, because there's like anyone, you have like short spurts in your life where you're kind of with the wrong crowd, or you might be headed in the wrong direction, and then you kind of get things straightened out. And obviously him being my brother and the people he surrounded himself with obviously helped me, because ultimately I was with him and whoever he was with. So that was huge to me. But definitely surround yourself with people that challenge you. That you don't want to surround yourself with people that are the same as you, but you want to surround yourself with people that have the same vision and challenge you in different ways of life to make sure that you're always growing and getting the most out of life, ultimately.
Yeah, and we've been friends for probably 15 years now, the group. And actually we're a band. I don't get tattoos because I'm allergic, but I'm not allergic, I just don't get it. We were a band, and the group, like we wanted to call ourselves a group, and Stay Cool was the name of the group, and that's actually the name of like our business. But the thing, we have 4 principles, and we all sat down in a room one day and we said, how do we get where we are? How did 13 black men not end up, they're statistics, 13 black men, somebody should be shot, dead, something should be wrong amongst the group. And so we came up with 4 principles as to why we are where we are. And the principles are stay optimistic, stay positive, stay focused, and stay true. And basically through these principles, we strive to redefine cool, because we're all very different. Like I said, we're all different. People are in fashion, people are athletes, people do everything different. But because we, one, expect positive outcomes in our life, stay optimistic, surround ourselves with positive people, stay focused, set goals, hold each other accountable, and ultimately stay true, that's how we are able to be where we are. People used to ask us, like, what do y'all do? Like, how do y'all? It was just a function of me feeding off of him, feeding off of each other, and we really sat down to think about what is it we do, how do we get here? It just boiled down to those 4 principles. And that's kind of how I live my life. And it took me 4 years and 4 months to stay true to what I really want to do, but I'm excited to get back to Stay Cool and doing that full time again. But it's really, you just got to realize, if somebody's taking you off the path, just ask yourself, is this the best thing for me? And don't take it personally, because I've had friends within the group that have done things that I don't identify with. So I'll tell them about it, and I'll stick to this portion of the group. But at the end of the day, we bring each other back full circle. But you got to be able to call each other out, be able to be accountability is key. You got to be able to tell somebody, even if you're not 100% confident, you got to be able to ask people questions and be comfortable asking people questions. Because I think asking somebody a question about why they're doing something will just magnify if they really want to do it, or it'll be like, damn, I'm doing this for no reason. So I just think when we have friend groups, when you see somebody going down the wrong path, just be comfortable asking them questions, challenging them, But ultimately, be a resource, be somebody that they can look to, and just try to be a great friend, great teammate, and, you know,